Hello everyone. Today we are going to start a very important chapter of class 10 science, which is heredity and evolution. In this chapter we'll discuss about the heredity and evolution. In this video related to the second part of this chapter, in this we will discuss about the evolution part of the chapter. I am Mafi Khatun, TGT Science in Kendriya Vidyalaya ONGC Dehradun. So, students, let's start to discuss the different topics one by one. First of all, we'll talk about the evolution. So, what is evolution? Evolution is a change in the genetic composition of a population. So, evolution can be explained as that evolution is the sequences of gradual changes which takes place in the primitive organisms over millions of years, in which the new species are produced. The more characteristics a species have in common, the more closely they will be related. Some important sources which provide us evidence for the evolution are homologous organs, analogous organs, vestigial organs, and fossils. Here, there is an image of Archaeopteryx, which is believed to be a link between the birds and the dinosaurs. So, now let's move on to the next topic. Homologous organs. So, what are the homologous organs? The organs which have same fundamental structure and origin, but they have different functions. Those are known as homologous organs. These organs follow the basic plan of organization same during their development, but in adult conditions, these organs are modified and to perform the different functions according to the adaptations in different environment. As for example, the cats use their forelimbs for running, the bats use and the birds use for flying, and the human beings they use their forelimbs or hands for holding the things. So these are the homologous organs. Now, the analogous organs. The analogous organs are the organs with similar function, but they differ in their structure, their origin, and their fundamental structure is differ, but their functions are same. As in case of wings of insects, wings of birds, wings of bats, they all are different in their fundamental structure, but they perform the similar function. So those are known as the analogous organs. Now the vestigial organs. The vestigial organs are the organs which are non-functional in present day forms but were functional in ancestors. In present day, these organs are non-functional, but in our ancestors they are functional. They were functional that time, as for example, the appendix and the wisdom tooth in case of human beings. They are our vestigial organs. Now, the next topic is fossils. The remains of dead animals or plants that lived in the remote past are known as fossils. Fossils are obtained by digging into earth. The age of fossils are estimated by the relative method or carbon dating method. There are various kind of fossils. Some important fossils are ammonite, trilobite, and dinosaurs. Now we move on to the next topic, which is Darwin's theory. Charles Darwin was a very famous English naturalist. He explained how the evolution might have occurred in nature from simple to complex. He explained his theory in his books Origin of Species by Natural Selection. Darwin believed that nature selects only those individuals which have more favorable variations and are best adapted to the environment. So let's discuss Darwin's theory in these points one by one. Within any population, there is natural variation. Some individuals have more favorable variation than the others. Even though all the species produce a large number of offsprings, populations remains fairly constant naturally. This is due to the struggle between the member of same species and the member of different species for food, for space and for mate. There is a struggle between those members for the these requirement. The struggle for the survival within any population and if eliminates the unfit individuals, those individuals which are not fit in this environment, they eliminates. And the fit individuals which possessing the favorable variation to survive, to reproduce, they becomes survive in those environment. This is known as natural selection. The individuals which having the favorable variations, they survive in those environment. Now they pass on those variation to their progeny from generation to generations. And after some time, these variations, when accumulated for a long period of time, they lead to the origin of new species. So, this is all about Darwin's theory. Topic is natural selection. This is also related to Darwin's theory. Natural selection is the process of evolution of a species whereby characteristics which help the individual to survive in that environment and reproduce, those characters are passed on to their offsprings. And those characteristics which do not help the individual to survive, to reproduce, those characters are not passed on. And this is known as natural selection. Though the Darwin's theory was widely accepted, but it was criticized on the ground that it could not explain how these variations which help the individual to survive in that particular environment, how these variations arises. These things Darwin's theory couldn't explain. But with the progress in genetics, the source of variation was explained in the form of genes. Because when the genes vary in natural population, then the genetic variations arises. The genetic variation is the raw material of evolution. So Darwin's theory was modified accordingly. These days, the most accepted theory of evolution is the synthetic theory of evolution, in which the origin of a species is based on both genetic variation and natural selection. Now, as shown in these three figures, in first figure, an individual show the variation. Some offer an advantage, and these variation offer some advantage to those particular individual. Then, after some time, these variations becomes naturally selected. Best studies are favored, and then these are naturally selected. And after a long period of time, because this variation help the individual to survive in that particular environment, then this character becomes accumulated, and then variation increases in frequency and passed on to their progeny. This is known as natural selection. This is all about the natural. This is an example of Lamarck's theory or Lamarckism. Lamarck proposed the famous theory, the theory of inheritance of acquired characters. Lamarckism is based on the three factors. Number one, the new need in an organism due to change in environment. If the environment change, then there is a new need in the individual. Then, number two, the acquisition of new characters by the use and disuse and the environment effect. Then, the last, or the third point is the inheritance of acquired characters. According to Darwin's theory, there is an example of giraffe. The ancestors of giraffe having short neck. The first one is the original short-necked ancestor of giraffe, but due to the change in the environment, all the short plants, all the short trees which the uh, giraffe used has becomes less, and after some time the short plants or the short green plants becomes destroyed. Then the giraffe keeps stretching neck to reach the leaves of the higher upon trees, and then they keep on to stretching their neck and stretching, and they stretching their neck until the neck becomes progressively longer, and when their neck becomes progressively longer, then these characters becomes accumulated and inherited to their progeny from generation to generation. So the giraffe in the present day, all the giraffes in the present day having the long neck according to Lamarck's theory. Topic which is speciation. A species is a population of organisms which consisting of similar individuals which can breed each other and produce the fertile offsprings. So, what is speciation? The process by which a new species is developed from the existing species. This process is known as speciation. According to the process of speciation, there are the new species are developed from the existing species. So, this is speciation. There are some important factors which could lead to formation of new species. These are the geographical isolation of a population, which leads to reproductive isolation, due to which there is no flow of genes between the separated group of population. Now the next one is the genetic drift. Due to the drastic changes in the frequencies of particular genes by chance alone. Now, the variations which is caused in the individual by the natural selection may be a cause of speciation. So, these are the important factors which may be the cause of speciation or the formation of a new species. And after a long period of time, these characters becomes accumulated in those individuals, and then they pass on those characters to their progeny from generation to generation, and then a new species is formed, and this process is known as. Now the evolution of eyes. The eye is a complicated organ which cannot be generated by a single DNA change. So, the complex body organs of animals, such as eyes, have been created in stages over many generations. After, first of all the basic eye, like that of the flatworm, which is quite simple eye spot and which can detect only the light. And after this, more and more complex eye were evolved in many organisms. So, the structure of eye in each organism is different. So, it can be said that the evolution of eye is an example of evolution by various stages, because the structure of eye is differ in each organism. So, it is an example of evolution in many stages. Now, the evolution of feathers. Sometime an evolutionary change produced in an organism for one purpose, later on it becomes more useful for the entirely different function. As in case of birds, birds evolved feathers as a means of providing insulation to their body in cold weather, but later on these feathers becomes more useful for the purpose of flying. Even the dinosaurs also had feathers, but they couldn't use it for flying. But the birds, however, adapted feathers for flying, and the presence of feather on the birds tells us that birds are closely related to the dinosaurs. So, the evolution of feathers in case of birds for flying. Now, the evolution by the artificial selection. Different looking organism can be created from the same basic design of the ancestors. This is called evolution by the artificial selection, or to introduce the genetic variation in domesticated plants and animals for improving their quality is called artificial selection. By means of the artificial selection, the selection of the desired characters of plants and animals is done, and they are separated from those which do not have such characters. As, for example, the cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, kohlrabi, and kale can be made artificially from the wild cabbage. When the farmers wanted very short distance between the leaves of wild cabbage, the common variety of cabbage was evolved through the process of artificial selection. And when the farmers wanted the arrested flowers development of wild cabbage, then the broccoli was evolved. And when they wanted the swollen part of wild cabbage, then the kohlrabi was evolved. And when the farmers wanted to grow the large leaves of wild cabbage, then the kale was evolved. So here the artificially selected, we can improve or we can change the properties or the qualities of domesticated plants and animals. This is artificial selection which we used for our different type of. Now we can also say that there is no real progress in the concept of evolution. Evolution is just the production of diversity of life forms and shaping of this diversity by the environmental selection. The only progress in evolution is that more and more complex organisms have emerged over the ages. Newly formed species may have a better adaptive advantage in comparison to the older species in prevailing the environmental condition. In case of evolution, we cannot say that evolution is a progress. It is common belief that chimpanzees are the ancestors of human beings, but this is not true. Actually, both the chimpanzees and the human beings, they have common ancestors long time ago. So evolution is simply the generation of diversity and the shaping of diversity by the environmental selection. Over the time, more and more complex body designs have emerged during the process of evolution. But this is only the progressive trend in evolution, but it does not mean that the older and the simpler designs are efficient. Next topic, which is human evolution. Human evolution has been studied using the various tools of tracing evolutionary relationship like excavating, carbon dating, studying fossils, and determining DNA sequences. It has been established by the research that The members of the human species came from Africa. So, irrespective of where we have lived for past thousands of years, we all have the African roots. The earliest member of human species, Homo sapiens, could be traced from Africa. Some of our ancestors then they left Africa thousands of years ago, while the others they stayed on there. The migrants slowly spread across the planet from Africa to West Asia, then to Central Asia, Eurasia, South Asia, East Asia, and so on. But we all have African roots. So, students, from where does we belong? From which country we belong? From which religion we belong? From which caste we belong? But all the human beings are related to a single species, belong to a single species, which is known as Homo sapiens. So we all are human beings. We all are belongs to a same species. We all are human species, Homo sapiens. So this is all about the human evolution. So I hope that you all have understood all the topics of this video related to the evolution part of the chapter understood, and thank you so much for listening me. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks.